This is Colm McGuigan for IFLTV. Delighted to be joined by Johnny Nelson in the Kingdom of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Johnny, happy to be back?
Yeah, man, it's different. You know what? No expense spared. You know, Riyadh season's off. It's takeoff, man. We've got, what, 3 jumbo jets here turned into restaurants. No expense spared, mate.
I wanna get your thoughts on a couple of things. First, I want to talk about Dave Allen and Johnny Fisher. I interviewed Dave Allen yesterday. You were a former fighter, former champion, and he said something that was very telling to me yesterday. He said, I have no ambitions to ever fight for a world title. I know my level. If I was offered any amount of money, I wouldn't fight Martin Bakole or Adi Kabayel. The Johnny Fisher fight's one that I believe I can win, and British level's where I'm at. What do you make of that, of someone?
I like that honesty, but a fighter that gets in the ring without any ambition, that means when the pressure's on, he'll think, all right, I've done my bit, I'm changing it, cashing in. I've said before, I think Dave Allen shouldn't be fighting. I know Dave from being a young boy. He was in our gym. You know, back then, from back in the day, I sparred with Dave when he was a young man. Always a tough cookie, but he takes a lot of shots. And Dave's a nice guy. And so you don't... I've seen too many fighters tomorrows, and so I know what he could be like tomorrow. Johnny Fisher, he's on the crest of a wave, and so he's going to try and get some scalps through. Dave sparred with Johnny or knows the strength of Johnny Fisher. So again, I think this game, you can't play boxing. You can't play this game because it's concussively painful. Just as long as he's safe in the ring, you know, he'll give us as good as he possibly can, and I'm quite sure there'll be many fights like this on the horizon for him because he's a fan favourite, like Johnny Fisher. But I'm uncomfortable with these kind of things.
Could you see him old man and Johnny Fisher? And
yeah, he's a great old man fighters. He still does. He still spars with a lot of young fighters and an old man and through. But it doesn't matter. You can't keep getting hit on the scalp by other heavyweights. You can't do that. It's dangerous.
In terms of another fight on the card, Ishmael Davis takes a big step up at late notice. You're someone that probably never declined a fight in your life. Do you believe that Ishmael Davis is right to take a fight like this at this stage of his career?
Yeah, I do. Because Ishmael Davis reminds me of myself. He's one of those fighters where he's always been, he lives in the gym. So you could tell him this week he's fighting next week and he's fight fit. Not many fighters do that. They don't live the life. Ishmael does. He's a Leeds boy. I know him. That's how I got my opportunities for the British, for the European, twice over. And there's not many fighters that are willing to make that commitment and live the life. And I know it's very hard, but opportunity knocks. Now opportunity knocked again. Look what he did to Josh Kelly. Gave him kittens. Gave him kittens in the fight, 2 days notice. So again, you can't underestimate this young man. The only differences are the surroundings. He does it all the time.
Obviously, there's a replacement because of the Dennis McCann situation. Peter McGrail is now fighting a boxer fighter in Rhys Edwards, unbeaten. Late notice like this, do you like that move for Rhys Edwards to come in?
I don't like late notice fights because I've seen so many careers derailed through late notice opponents because, like Ishmael Davis, if they're gym fit, they've got something about them. The shapes and size have changed, or your opponents change, your expectations, your hunger changes because you think, oh, I've got somebody that's not ready, and that's when you get turned over. So I'm uncomfortable with late replacements.
Tyson Fury said in an interview yesterday, I'm sure you've seen it, that he hasn't spoke to his wife in 3 months. What do you make of that? Is that a different type of Tyson Fury we're going to see this time?
I don't believe it, but I do believe there'll probably be some tension there because he's in fight mode. He also said yesterday that he's going to come in around 20 stone. Now, and it was a no-nonsense vibe about him, which I loved. I loved the no-nonsense vibe about him. So in doing that, I want to see what it's like around Usyk before I believe him. I've changed my mind. I said Usyk wins at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
Today I'm saying Tyson wins.
Why? What's changed your mind?
Because he's no bullshit. He's serious, and I've always pulled him on his bullshit. I've always pulled him on not being a responsible champion, but getting away with it. And he didn't get away with it against somebody he couldn't get away with it. What I'm saying is, you know, you can clown about, you can mess about, you can do all that stuff, and he's been successful at it. But the time when he needed it the most was against Usyk. I thought he beat Usyk the first time, but because of his antics, he didn't. So now he's come in and his attitude has changed. And he can play the fool to catch the wise. He can laugh and joke, and he can get in your face. It's fight week now. And what I saw yesterday, I'm like, I like that. He's a bit spiky. He's miffed. You know, he wants to just concentrate on him. Now, when he's in the presence of Usyk, if that guy turns up, I want to see him go there and think, you know what? I'm not your friend. I don't hate you. I don't like you. I just want to knock you out. That's what I want to see. When I see that, I'm like, all right, there he is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Do you think it was a calculated decision from Team Fury to not have John Fury around at this beginning of the week?
Well, I don't know if John Fury is or isn't around, but for people to blame John Fury on the decision last time, they're wrong. They're wrong because John Fury's always been John Fury. John Fury has been like that since I've known Tyson being, when he turned pro. John Fury's always been there. So but John Fury's getting the blame for it. Maybe it was the other antics around that, but him making noise in the corner, no, I don't. I think it's unfair on John Fury because Tyson finds calm in chaos. It's everybody else that can't deal with it.
Do you read into the fact that AJ's taking a longer break than maybe some expected, and maybe tied in with this fight? Do you believe that he's waiting around to see what happens here?
I do without a doubt. Common sense, it's show business, and the business is this. If he watches Daniel Dubois and he's tied into Daniel Dubois, and say he loses to Daniel Dubois, this fight that was always a valuable fight is gone, up in smoke. Whereas if he hung about, took the criticism, took our critique, no matter what happens on Saturday, gets in with Tyson Fury next, it's still a big fight, still big money, still valuable. I get it. But well, let's see how Saturday night turns out.
I spoke to Alex Krasik yesterday, and he said that being around AJ twice in close quarters when Usyk fought him twice, he believes seeing AJ now, he should retire and walk away from the sport. Would you agree with Alex Krasik's opinion there?
1000%. That's what I said after the fight. I think AJ needs to just walk away from it. And the reason why I say that is because AJ has boxed and beaten so many champions, achieved so much in the space of time he started boxing, and people got to give him credit for where credit's due. He's done brilliantly. But now, at this stage, you can't make such rookie mistakes at this stage. You can't come in and lose. It's like, I don't know, I suppose it's like being a carpenter and forgetting your tools at home again and again and again. And Tyson and AJ's boxed too many top fighters to forget who he is when he gets in the ring and makes such rookie mistakes. So I understand with Krasik completely.
On the flip side, Johnny, right, if AJ's waiting around like we think, Dubois fights Parker, say Parker beats Dubois, which is a legitimate chance of happening, Parker-AJ rematch, AJ gets another chance at a world title.
Well, the problem is this, you know, regardless of who AJ gets in with, it's a case of which AJ is going to turn up, like what happened in the last fight. But you know AJ's a lot better than that, can perform a lot better, but if his head isn't on his shoulders, that AJ turns up. No, that's not being disrespectful. It's me saying, you know, this man sometimes fights like he's not got the confidence to match his ability, and then sometimes he fights like a god, and so he's too inconsistent, and you can't afford those inconsistencies at top level. You can't afford it because that's what happens. You end up on your face, knocked out. That's the problem.
Last one from me. Do you think we see AJ Fury before 2025's out?
If he doesn't jack in, yes, I do. If AJ doesn't pack in, yes, I do. If Fury doesn't jack in, yes, I do.
Do you think there's a possibility after this, even win or lose, Fury walks away from the sport?
Depends on if he loses, and if he loses, the fashion's a loss.
Or with a win, you think he stays around?
Yeah, because AJ fights a valuable fight.
Johnny Nelson, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Bless man, anytime.
Thank you.